Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the word of the day for the Lakers is urgency, man. It's urgency. It's the word of the series, urgency. We talked plenty about a lot in that last long Laker chat video that I did. It was almost an hour long. I was just going off at the head or whatever the heck came into mind, but truth of the matter is the Lakers got to be about less talk and more operations as it pertains to our physicality, as it pertains to our offensive and defensive principles, our maintaining of our focus, our maintaining of the excellence in the areas where we are succeeding, and just overall bringing it 48 minutes plus overtime if necessary. And that's all it is, man. You're on the road against a team that hasn't lost, maybe 5 games in the last month. The good thing is you were one of the teams they lost to in this last game. So that gives you a little bit of confidence that you can beat them. Problem is, they also beat you. That's why the series is 1-1. So they got that same confidence. We need to take that confidence and punch them in the mouth about it. That's what I think. This young team, their confidence can sway. Okay? The guy that they have lost to last year, the guy that beat them, was on our team right now, Luka the Don. We need to carve their heart out as a unit, and he'll take care of the rest because he's already proven that he's already in their skull. That's what our edge is. It's not necessarily in our physicality, but it's in their having to deal with this guy again. And maybe they want a little revenge. Maybe they want revenge, and maybe that's what drives them. But just as quickly as they want revenge comes as quickly as those memories of him dancing on their heads and sending themselves home. So that's what I want people to understand. They may be upset at Luka the Don, but they should also have a healthy fear of Luka the Don. And he should understand that he has that edge on them and continue to inflict his will upon them. Because at the end of the day, though our offense has been cold, he is not. And that's really what it comes down to. It's our others that haven't been able to work with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's still killing them every night. He killed them in both of these first 2 games, and I'd imagine if things remain equal, he's going to kill them again tonight. What we need is more team effort around him, more others playing better around him, because he's got this as it pertains to being able to carve them up. They can't stop him. That's what they've proven. They can stop everybody else, but they're having a whole lot of trouble even slowing down the Don. And so that's what I'm thinking about as this game approaches. We're about 3 hours away from tip-off, something like that. They can't stop the Don, man. They cannot stop the Don. We're having a much better time going up against Ant-Man than they are going up against Don. And that, my friends, is something to really consider. So no matter who they throw on him, he's cooking them. The question is, can we follow Don's lead and get him some help? Can our role players get over the double-digit mark on their scoring? I need more from Dorian Finney-Smith. I need more from Gabe Vincent. I need more from Jackson Hayes. If he's going to play, I need more from Jordan Goodwin in terms of minutes, and then from there we can start talking about what the production should be. I don't think coach is going to play anybody else, but I need more from Austin Reeves. We need more from these people, man. And if we get it, we can get on track against this Minnesota Timberwolves team and take a 2-1 lead, in my opinion. But if we don't get it and we continue to have struggles with our role players versus theirs, and we're relying on Luka the Don to literally score 80 points in order for us to get the victory, then we're going to be in a little bit of trouble, I think. And so that's the whole thing that I have to say about that. I need more out of others, man. Others. Austin Reeves is very important in this series because he has had some struggles. But unlike our quarter-to-quarter scoring output as a unit, he has actually gotten better quarter-to-quarter as we've gone forward. He's just got to continue to address adjustments to the length that he's got coming against him defensively, He's got to focus on getting to the line, continuing to lay the ball up where opportunities may be. And we need guys like LeBron James and Austin and Luka Don to give him his touches so he can continue to attack, because he can't do a whole lot without the ball in his hands. He really can't do a whole lot without the ball in his hands. He can play well off ball, but at the end of the day, it needs to come his way. And so a lot of that's on our playmakers. A lot of that's on our coaching. We got to scheme up opportunities for Austin to be Austin. If that means he plays on the floor with only LeBron and while Luka's sitting down, getting the focal point of his offense going that way, that's maybe the way to go. I don't think we can get away with not having him on the floor, without having Luka on the floor for too long in this series. But I do think it's so essential that we find a way to let Austin get his touches, get his looks, and ultimately get a rhythm somehow against this team. For the rest of the series, we need him to find a way to overcome and show out. And if we can get a flex game out of Austin Reeves against this defense, we really know we've gotten over the hump, because that's one of the main problems with our offense. One of the main problems, if not the main problem of our offense, is how they've been able to hold Austin Reeves well below his average. And so that needs to stop. Hopefully that stops tonight. I don't know when the three ball is going to come back around for Austin. When he's cold, he's cold. When he's hot, he's hot. And it tends to linger either way. But I did like how he was attacking in the fourth quarter in that last game, getting to the line, laying the ball up. He was finding ways of getting past people, cutting into the teeth of the defense, making them second guess whether or not they're having so much success against him. So I'd like us to switch it up a bit. I understand that Luka likes getting off early, and it really does run the score up early. The highest scoring quarter we had was the quarter where we just gave him the ball and let him cook. But I still think that we should switch it up some so we're not so predictable. And I don't know if this is going to make it so that he doesn't cook if he doesn't get the ball early. I don't really know. But is there not a way we can deploy him in the second quarter or the beginning of the third quarter the same way that we deploy him in the first? Maybe beginning of the fourth quarter the same way we deploy him in the first? Because if that's something that we can do, maybe we can attack this team a little differently, let other guys get in rhythm, and then while they're trying to figure out how it's going to go, Luka then turn on the switch that he turns on in the first quarter and string together like 20 points in a row. Catch him off guard at different points in the game. And then we can run the score up at a 34-point quarter coming out of the locker room or something. Because that's what needs to happen. We need to switch it up, in my opinion. But I don't know that he's going to be able to do that. I really don't know. We still got a lot to learn about this player. And basically what I've seen is he likes to get off in first quarters. Give me my touches early, and then I stay hot when I get hot. Does that not work out if he doesn't get those early touches? Or can he turn that on at any time? Can he do that randomly at the 6-minute mark of the second quarter, right before halftime? You see what I'm saying? Because if we can have him do the same thing that he does in the first quarter throughout the course of different points in the various game that we're in, secretly we may be able to run up the score in some ways that they can't overcome. And that's really what I'm hopeful we can do. A guy like Julius Randle gets in foul trouble, all of a sudden we press the Luka button. Boom. He strings together his three-point shots, stuff like that. That type of thing, if we can turn it on and off as we choose, it's a lot more beneficial to the rest of our team, because we can allow LeBron to maybe get in rhythm early in the game, Austin to maybe cook early in the game, get in their rhythm, draw fouls, that kind of thing, get their man in foul trouble, and then bam, 3-minute mark of the first quarter, turn on the Luka button. Shoot. You know what I mean? That type of weapon can be utilized at any point. And while I love getting off to early starts with big leads, if the fact that we're going to just be out of rhythm as the rest of a team comes with that big lead, then we're going to give up the lead, and that it defeats the purpose. Or we end up doing like we did, running the score up and then fighting on tooth and nails defensively to make up for it. What is ultimately then pushing against that deficit they're facing. So it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that if Luka can sacrifice some of them early touches, it may not give us the biggest lead. It may be more effective to run the score up, giving it to him, but the leads that you get may be more sustainable if he diversifies, if he allows our offense to diversify a bit. Because Luka and LeBron are not going to be, in theory, as efficient as Luka is. I mean, Austin and LeBron are not going to be as efficient running their offense as Luka is, in theory. They're just not. They more possessions are kind of going to be thrown away on misses, to be honest with you. Based on what it is I'm seeing, you give him the ball, it's a more effective offense all the way around. But they really do need to get in rhythm, because if they're so ineffective for the rest of the game because they didn't get their early touches, it really hurts the team. And so that's my concern. Does that not stand for Luka as well, though? If he doesn't get his early touches, he's not as good. And if we're asking Luka to play off ball, obviously you're not going to ask him to come off the bench to deploy him later on in the game. So does that mean he's off the ball in those early possessions in the first quarter, and does that not hurt your defense? So it's like you may be better off giving him the ball and let him cook early, getting his rhythm early, run the score up, so that you can be of some use to you, because he may not be of any use to you if he has to be off ball early on while other people are cooking. So do you experiment with his minutes? Let him take the first couple of minutes in the first quarter and then sit down? I don't think he's going to be happy with that. I don't know if that makes you a better team. But if the object of the game is to be able to stay as defensively sound earlier while Austin and LeBron get in rhythm, Luka being on the floor does not help with that, in theory, unless he's being deployed to destroy and cook. And so these are just things that I'm just kind of trying to figure out based on what I've seen, not only in the first 2 games of this series, but throughout the course of the time he's been here. It's almost like he's so used to doing certain things in Dallas where things were built around him, that he could just literally just ignore his teammates in Dallas for a whole quarter, run the score up, and then work his playmaking stuff for the next 3 quarters, getting those guys involved, and they were fine with it. That's how they all cooked. But I just don't see us cooking that way. I don't think our players are wired for that. And so we gotta figure that out. LeBron James tends to struggle too, and that's the thing. It's like, not only do we have one player that struggles with this, but we have 2. LeBron and Austin struggle with this. You know what I mean? I don't know if that just takes time to get used to. I didn't watch enough Dallas to know how long it took Kyrie to get used to that. You know what I mean? I don't really know. But at this point, with everything on the line, we kind of got to know. we got to know. We got to get it right the first time. And so I guess that's what comes with not having such a big piece in training camp and at the start of the season, because you really have to learn certain things on the fly when it matters most. Kind of tough, if you ask me. But I fully expect that he will be here next season to start the season. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. So that shouldn't be a problem going into next season. But yeah, man, we got to figure it out. We have to figure this out. We got to figure out the Jackson Hayes minutes. Are we going to play this guy, or are we going to get rid of him as it pertains to his minutes in the series? Sometimes you just got to get away from a guy. I don't know, man. I really don't know. But, the problem with cutting his minutes all the way down is when you do need to use him and you pick him back up into, getting his minutes, what you end up finding is he's lost confidence in himself and stuff like that, and out of rhythm, not helping your team at all. And that's what we don't want. We don't want to give up on a guy, and then from there he doesn't give us what he's been giving us when we need him to. This may not necessarily be a series for him, but we don't want him thinking that no series is a series for him. You know what I mean? you may need him later on, especially since we didn't keep our other centers for the playoffs. So that's just another reason why I didn't like the decision the Lakers made. You know, I've been listening to people talk about how screen setting is so important. I was listening to Trevor Lane talk about how some of our players didn't set good screens in game 2, and that kind of thing. And I just think the best screen setter I saw on this team was Trey Jemison. He didn't do a lot of things right, and sometimes he would get called for fouls on screens too, but he would set them tough screens that you couldn't get around easy. You'd have to really fight around his screens, and I think it really legitimately led to a lot of success. Little things like that, when you have a strong player that's working so hard to push people around, that stuff really matters, man. And that we don't have that on our team right now. I don't know how we're going to get past what's in front of us. I really don't. Like, maybe I'm just not smart enough of a basketball mind to really see, well, this is our actual strength. We don't need him at all. Probably wouldn't have used him anyway. I just think that would have been a mistake if that was the case. I think you definitely use this player. You know, and you force him, like Jackson Hayes, into proving that he ain't no good for the series. And so that's what you do with that particular piece, with our particular circumstances. I definitely use him. So yeah, I think that some of what it is that we're suffering here from is just a lack of toughness with some of our role players. Not to say our role players aren't tough in their own respective positions, because I think they are. But to say that they can make up for what's missing out there with the bigs, boy, you asking for a lot out of your team, man. This series is probably the wrong series for that situation alone, let alone a future series with the Rockets or against Draymond, although Draymond and them is playing small ball a lot of the time. I have my questions about whether they're going to get out of that series. Golden State right now, I picked them to win in 6, but I don't know if they're getting out of the series. That's a fight. That's a real fight, and I don't think they have the players to really bang up against that team like that right now. I really don't. Especially if they're going to have issues with Jimmy's injury that just took place in the last game. You know, I just think that you can't underestimate the strength of guys like Steven Adams and Alperen Sengun. That's what you cannot underestimate. If you're us in the next round, and we hope if we happen to see them, if you're Golden State, you can't underestimate that. Now, granted, Golden State has guys like Kevon Looney. You know, Quentin Post can help a little bit with that. They have some bigs there. They're a little bigger than people think, but at the end of the day, those are some real bruisers, man. And when you talk about the issue that we're discussing, you know, not having the centers that can really bang, that's going to prove to be a lot. 2 series in a row, you got Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, and Julius Randle, and then you're followed by Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith, and of course Steven Adams. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. That's a lot of what you're asking your guys to go up against. LeBron James and Dorian Finney-Smith. That's a lot of size you're asking them to push up against for basically anywhere from 8 to 14 games in a row. Like, you're asking a lot. So I don't know, man. Will we deploy Alex Len out there sometimes? Like, that may be actually required, believe it or not, if we're going to match up. Which sounds crazy to me, which I don't think actually is going to really yield the dividends that we hope it would. But I don't know that you can get away with asking Dorian to keep banging up against these people, bro, and LeBron to keep banging up against these people. I read something this morning that they said the Minnesota Timberwolves are hoping to wear LeBron down in this series. I mean, that's obvious. It's not even something they have to really give any thought to. LeBron is playing as a big in this series, and they have legitimate bigs. So yeah, the idea is to try to get him as tired as possible, to have him overexerting, pushing around, than being able to exert his energy in areas he would prefer. Yeah, I mean, that's not something you even have to give any thought to. You know, if you're the coaching staff of the Minnesota Timberwolves, that's the easy part. Is devising that's what you need to do. And so the Lakers need to find a way to take some of that pressure off of him, and that means asking different people to do things. Maybe, I'll be honest with you, maybe losing some Markieff Morris. in some small ball units just to take some pressure off LeBron here and there. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but like, you don't really have a lot of options. You know, you look at your bench, you got Bronny James, you got Dalton Connect. Those guys are not going to help you in that way at all. You got Jordan Goodwin. He ain't going to help you necessarily in that way. Not too long, not too often, not with any success. And you're looking at Alex Len. Jackson Hayes is like, there's no one to take any pressure off this man. That's why I don't understand what Rob Pelinka was thinking when he made the choices that he made down the stretch of the season. And I do agree that you make Jordan Goodwin a player on this roster, even though I don't think we've used him enough in this series as of yet. I definitely think you make sure he's there, but you needed a center. You needed a center that you could trust, man. Because you know damn well he ain't going to, JJ is not going to trust Alex Len. You know he's not. And you know Jackson Hayes ain't going to help you in these areas. So this is, I'm telling y'all, man. I'm a Laker fan that loves to tell you guys that everything is fine and dandy and that we're going to just rush to the finals and the Western Conference can't see us and all that. And I think I would have felt that way if we would have had Koloko and Jemison. I think I would have felt that way. Because I understand how much that affects the energy of LeBron James and how much he affects ultimately carrying us there. But if he has to push up against so many damn people, and he's already been hobbled throughout the course of these last 3 months with various different injuries and wear and tear at 40 years of age, no, you're setting him up. You're setting him up to have to miss some games in the series or in the playoffs. Not smart. Not smart at all. And so I just wish the Lakers would have respected that being a correlation between whether or not they've been successful or a failure in these playoffs a bit more, because it is really that simple. It is really that simple. But if I'm coach, like I said, I'm gonna have Markieff Morris playing some small ball 5. I'm gonna force Alex Len to give me some minutes once in a while, man. And we're just gonna have to take the minuses that come with it, just to keep Bron fresh, just to keep Dodo fresh. Literally, you almost have to, man. And I know he ain't gonna want to do it. But for not doing it, you're gonna end up running into the problems that I'm telling you you're gonna run into, which is LeBron James not being 100% in the basketball game. Maybe have to sit a game or two in a series, and you can't let that happen. Because in that game, what you end up doing is asking Luka Doncic to do a lot of that stuff, and you're gonna wear him down too. It trickles down, man. It trickles down. Dodo is entirely too important to this, and he's not somebody I trust to stay overly healthy in these situations. How do you keep him fresh? What happens if he rolls an ankle? You see what I'm saying? Like this type of stuff. Lakers screwed up, man. I know they screwed up. Now, the question is, can we weather the storm from that decision? And the answer is probably not, man. Just being real, probably not. Probably not realistically. No. But we will give it a shot. And from game to game to game, if we can find a way to take care of the things we can control, maybe we can find ways of winning games. Other teams have problems too. A lot of what it is that we think is dictating wins and losses may not necessarily come from our side of the fence. You ask the Boston Celtics how that stretch run went last year when they went to the championship. The stuff that they were preparing for going into those series, did they run into any of that stuff? No, they didn't. Because guys got hurt on the other side that evened the score or made it significantly easier for them to win. That, my friends, is something that the Lakers really need, is some real luck. Some luck to fall in their favor to even up the balance in regards to them maybe having some issues here with what it is I'm talking about. They need some luck. And so I don't know if other teams don't have some of the similar issues. I'm looking at this Golden State Warriors Rockets series. If we do get out of this series, those teams are beating each other up, man. How much can they rely upon who they're using to stay healthy in the next series going up against us? These are two brutal series. No matter who comes out of these series, it's going to be beat up. Lakers, Minnesota, Rockets, or Golden State. Whatever's going to happen, whatever that matchup is in the next round, that team is going to be worn the hell out by the end of that series. Whoever wins the second series, going into the OKC Clippers series, I don't know who they're going to have on the floor based on how the physical nature of the series they're in the first round. It's a dogfight, man. And these type of things also contribute to the Eastern Conference team ultimately hoisting the championship, because you don't have nothing left by the end of the damn playoffs. Yeah, you the better team, but this Eastern Conference crap is easy, man. It blow through these teams. I look at what, or just look at what Memphis got going on as it pertains to OKC. OKC is having the easiest series in the playoffs by a long shot. And that's because Memphis should be in the lottery. Like, they're not any good at this point. They were living off of early season success when they were a different team. The second half team that they are, they're even a playoff team. That's a complete bye week for the OKC Thunder. Now, I think the Thunder could run into some real physical issues going up against Jokic or going up against Zubac, whichever one of them teams come out. I think that could be a real thing, especially if that series prolongs, because I don't really know that they have the horses to be in physical matchups like the Lakers are in, like Minnesota's in, like the Rockets in, and like Golden State's in. I don't know that they have those horses. That could be their Achilles heel. They're a little thin up top. They don't really have that bruiser. You know, so I could totally see that being the problem with the OKC Thunder. Plus, like I always say, you playing on easy mode while everybody else playing on hard mode. But see, the way the Thunder have been playing this series, they've been going at Memphis like they're on hard mode. So it could equate just from the sheer effort that they're putting out to shut this team down. Yesterday, overcoming what, a 29-point lead. I think they said that was the biggest lead overcame in the playoffs since 1996 or something like that. It's crazy. But it just speaks to what happens when Ja goes down in that game. You have a 29-point lead, Ja goes down, and Memphis don't even have a lottery team. I mean, they're bad, like, at that point. So it wasn't a wonder that OKC was able to overcome them. After that, it was no wonder at all. And so this is what I'm looking at just around the Western Conference. The Los Angeles Lakers, in my opinion, gonna need some luck. They're gonna need some teams that have some other issues that keep them from being able to benefit so much from the Lakers kind of being thinner than they would love to be. And if all of that falls into place, then yeah, I could totally see us winning the series. But if teams are 100% healthy and they're pushing everything to the front of the line against us, if the series continues to prolong, if we don't find a way to end them series early, I don't know what kind of energy we're going to have in a Game 6 or a Game 7 of those series. And that's my problem with this process. I just don't know. So that's really my thoughts, man. It's kind of what I have to say going into Game 3. And that's why I say the urgency is at a very, very high level. To not get the split, but to end the series in 5, like Shannon Sharpe said, like many people have said. I don't think that that's necessarily what you would expect. Going forward, I certainly do not expect that, but the urgency from the Laker end is to win 3 straight right now and put this series to an end, put this rock fight, as they call it, to an end, and align yourself with the rest necessary for the next rock fight that's likely going to come from either the Houston Rockets or the Warriors. Because that's exactly what I'm expecting, is a rock fight from both of those teams, regardless of which one we see. And so, yeah, man, it's gonna get rough around here even further. First 2 games we've already been beat up. I expect to get beat up even more tonight. I expect Minnesota to be extremely physical this evening. The referees are not calling anything to start these playoffs. You know, it's almost like they're letting the ticky-tack fouls get called, and the ones that you wonder if they're flagrant, they're not getting called. And so if they continue to ref these playoffs in that fashion, it will affect who ends up winning the championship. It'll affect a lot. And that's what I would tell the NBA. Like, look, what I just said is exactly what I think. If you keep letting these referees let hard fouls go, and they're blowing ticky-tack foul whistles, it's going to be the teams with the heaviest, strongest, toughest players that ultimately going to win this series. Not the most skilled, not the best team. It's just the team with the deepest, who can withstand the punishment of this type of officiating will ultimately survive to lead the championship. And so that's going to be a real story there, man. So that's pretty much what I have to say, man. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.